Welcome everyone to Generation Dan, and we are talking about mothers today. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We are going to have a discussion based on obviously why my mother is the best. And how's it going, Atlas?
I mean, I was just gonna say your mom, but that just
fair.
plays right into your hands, doesn't it?
It does. It really does. It's This is the
Sorry,
thing is,
John.
no. I messaged out earlier to all the channels.
It's my bad. It's
20 more pounds lost on Dino and gain.
those two are fucking twins. We're gonna grow closer and closer to looking like each other over time until we're. Oh my god, you people!
What's up, Michael Bryan? What's up, Joey?
Yeah.
John, thank you very much for your patience.
And I know because of this time of year, again, like last week, the sun is going to be on me for part of it. I was going to go record in my bedroom instead, but because being that it's Mother's Day, my landlady has her kids over, and the pool for the building is outside my bedroom window. So even with the windows closed, you can hear, "She's a lady." Whoa, 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 she's a lady. Even funnier, according to Katie, who's been home longer than I have, is that she's played it 6 times today. Amazing.
Like, I get that because I notoriously will have stuff on a loop and just keep on playing it.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, because, it's the advantage of being a nut job. So,
I mean, like, you get that song where, like, you play it on a loop over and over. Like, like a couple of years ago, it was like The Fix is one thing leads to another.
Yeah,
or,
sure.
A few years ago, it was Last Friday Night by Katy Perry. Stuff like that. Pools are fun until kids are there. Then I want to leave. Yes, I know I have kids.
That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Listen, when I was supposed to come to Cleveland, one of the things was I got a place that had a pool, and I'm like, people can come over. That's cool, no problem. But I'm like, you guys can come, just don't bring your kids because that's just gonna be a horrible time. It's gonna ruin everything. But was it Michael Bryan? Oh yeah, William Hung definitely lives up to his name. Elephant Trunk. Michael Bryan was on doing a movie today, and William Hung was there, and I'm like, man, that is going to be an experience. He posted a picture of him with William Hung, and I'm like, I love it.
I mean, I didn't know he liked William Hung in that way, but okay.
Well, I'll tell you this much: the lead-up post to him filming today was, "I'm starring beside someone who's actually gay, and I'm supposed to play that I'm gay as well. So I'm going to try to out-gay the gay guy." And I'm like, I feel like you've been practicing your whole life. And he's like, "You're damn right." So
that was going to get real stereotypical real fast.
He's in LA. That's his problem. I'm in Canada.
Wow. Okay. First celeb guest of Square Tales Degenerates, William Hung. That's interesting. Okay, I still can't believe that, like, the episode that I was on, where I was visibly annoyed the entire time, got like a little bit better views than a bunch of the other episodes. I was like, really? I was hangry that whole time. I was annoyed you weren't there in Cleveland.
Yeah, well, that's just fair.
I was in a mood.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a reasonable. Listen, after all is said and done, the funniest part about that was that when I was doing the show with Tim Loss, William Hung, he reached out to William Hung to do an interview, and William Hung was like, "Absolutely not." I was like, "What did you say to him?" Because Joey Edible was like, "Yo, man, mention you were online, and we can get in there." And I'm like, "Sounds good." Apparently not for some people. William Hung is above that bar.
I don't know. William Hung is not anybody's mom, though, so that's
also true.
Yeah.
William Hung wasn't the gay guy. He might be, but I didn't ask. That's fair. Well, listen, you got to respect people's boundaries. So, mothers. I find today very peculiar for a lot of reasons.
We're 2 dudes talking about a decidedly women-centric topic? Or
if that was awkward, most politics would just be, and podcasts would just be annihilated immediately.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah. So he was recently married. I feel like it's like, because I never grew up with like, we didn't celebrate anything, right? So like Mother's Day was like, it was weird to bring it up because you're like, we're adamant about not celebrating stuff. You're like, wait, shouldn't? And my dad's like, no, your mom should be special every day. And you're like, true. However, we don't really specialize in anything. So I'm like, that's kind of weird. So, and we don't celebrate birthdays either, right? So it's like, just, it's like bring flowers home for your mom sometime. Just she'll greatly appreciate it. And I feel like the celebration on Mother's Day is tainted because it's Mother's Day. And okay, listen, I'm gonna say this just for anyone who's listening, is that it's there's a high expectation that is you can't live up to when it comes to an occasion like a child's Christmas. It may already be so worked up in their mind that you can't fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bigger reward. Not to say that you don't do anything on Mother's Day. Let's be very clear. But you'll get a better bang for your buck randomly sending flowers to your mom than you ever will for Mother's Day. Yeah.
So is it kind of like I don't know, getting candy not on Halloween or?
Yeah. Well, my mom would adamantly not buy candy.
Mm-hmm.
Then after Halloween, buy candy, which is cost effective.
Yeah.
Then make a little bag of assorted candies to give to me and my brother, so we didn't feel left out. Like we still got candy, but we didn't celebrate Halloween. And that way, it was like, hey, like my parents, like if I said, oh, I want something, they're like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? Like you got to do chores, work for it, do something good, and you know. And you'll get a reward. My dad says you remind him of that genius scientist on Stargate Atlantis.
Never saw Stargate Atlantis.
I loved Stargate Atlantis. And which one? The Canadian one? Because I'm not sure if that's a compliment. That's maybe 50-50.
Wait, there's a Canadian Stargate Atlantis versus
No. Stargate Atlantis was an alliance behind many nations, and there was a Canadian scientist, and he is a Canadian actor who also had the.
Oh, I thought you meant like a Canadian produced version of the show, like how there's a British office and an American office. It was like we got Stargate Atlantis and then Stargate Atlantis over here, eh? And like,
oh, we're gonna go explore Atlantis. It's under the water, eh? Yeah, that's. I feel like that may be a future. I'm not sure. Thank your dad, though, John. Still, I feel like Mother's Day is important. I find it weird that people get weird about, like, who gets, the Canadian one. Yeah. He's not a nice guy in the show. He's always right. Not a nice person, though. And I'm like, that does resonate with me.
Way to buck stereotypes, I guess.
Yeah. That's, you know what? I always will say, though, that the first time I went as an adult to New York City, I was with 5 other dudes, and people were super nice. And I'm like, man, New Yorkers are way more nice than Canadians. Canadians are dicks. So,
is it like a nice versus kind thing, where like New Yorkers aren't nice but they're kind, and LA people aren't kind but they're nice, where they're like nice to your face, but if you need help with something, they're like, go fuck yourself.
So Toronto used to be like that, like how New York was, where people are like, why are you so dumb? I'll fix it. Just sit there, okay, before you break anything else. Okay, I'll fix it. Maybe I'll tell you how you did it afterward. Just use your eyes, hold a flashlight, do something, you know?
Yeah.
But now not so much. People are just dicks. Like, Toronto has become very, like, look, I have a strong advantage.
Because they film a lot of movies there. All the LA people are up there now.
Factual. But there's people with all other large cities getting crazy. It has also happened in Toronto, right? Where people are like, no, I need to be represented. You're like, hey man, no, you could just do your thing. You don't have to force your suckage on other people. It's wild how everyone assumes their deceased mothers are in heaven.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Look, I can just say for a fact that my fiance's family doesn't like my mom very much.
Oh, that's fine.
Which is a shame, because my mom likes Katie, and but
that's fine.
I can understand how like hard she is to deal with sometimes, and like my sister and I are just used to it after all this time.
Yeah. Joey,
I'm just gonna leave that on.
Yeah.
Okay. Leave it. Don't say anything.
Listen, that's the weird part about that's the difference when you expand your family unit, is that you have the long-running acceptance of people's idiosyncrasies, and that's just like with long-term friends, family, cousins, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Versus when another adult comes in, they'll be like, that guy can kick rocks, right? Just because you don't, as an adult, you don't have to put up with that stuff, right? Like, with everything that I've been going through, there are a few people who tried to be like, "Oh, hey, man, do you remember me?" And I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Oh, that touches me." I'm like, "That's not a positive thing. I remember you being garbage." And they were like, I'm like, "Yeah, you should work on that." And I just walked away. And they were like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Yeah, you should feel bad because you were dog shit. That's not on me. That's, but that's when you're young, you're taught, you should be nice to people, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are some people though who are need something like a Mother's Day to remind them to be kind to their mom. I don't know. What do you think? Like, is it a big deal for people who celebrate Mother's Day, like growing up? Like,
so for people like for me and other people at school, Mother's Day was kind of rolled around with, okay, it's the week before Mother's Day in school. Let's make her a card or something. Obviously, that tapers off as you get older, but like it starts in kindergarten. Oh, we're gonna make a little art thing, and then probably by like 6th grade, they're like, "Figure your own shit out. You got this."
Which I think would have been really helpful in high school if they're like, "Hey guys, it's a week before Mother's Day. We're all going to learn poetry this week because high school.
That would be good.
Yeah. See, I think I should. I should definitely not teach people. I don't think I should. I should give people little nuggets of guidance occasionally. I think that's my niche.
Gino, the genetic marvel fortune cookies. Bam, figured out.
I feel so seen. Oh my God, that is exactly.
But you're right. That would be a good way to do it. I think. But yeah, and then like by the time Father's Day never got acknowledged in school because you were out by then. Mother's Day is like that last.
Wait, what? When's Father's Day?
It's around the same time, so like 2nd or 3rd week in June.
Oh yeah, so you should be
you're gone by that point. Mother's
or at
Day
least
is like
it's exams, it's whatever. Nobody cares, right? Like, there's no teacher who's actually putting in work at that point. Right? Absolutely not.
Because like usually, at least for the when I was a kid, you got out like 1st week of June, and then when I was by like high school, we got out like 2nd, 3rd week of June, but we'd also it would be like a later start, right? So it'd be further into September versus August or whatever. Anyway, I think for like what you're expected to give your mom kind of varies from family to family, but I think for my family, my mom just wanted the time, right? Let's go to a museum together. Let's have breakfast together, which is great. And like, actually today when we were at lunch, my sister and I had the conversation with my mom about like, what are love languages? And then she was like, what the fuck are those? Yeah. It was interesting because like I had a similar conversation with my dad at the end of last week, but it wasn't like apropos of anything. It was just kind of like it came up in conversation. But I think it's interesting to see boomers especially be like, wait, there's a way for people to understand each other more. And then their face just turns into the Nazis and Raiders of the Lost Ark, or
That happens a lot. Okay, hold on. Let me go through some of these contests. Okay, so first, yes, Canadians will sick their moose on you. Those guys are that is factual. You know who's a clown? That's Charlie Brown. That's fair.
Yeah. Damn like a clown, Charlie Brown. Yeah.
Is it true farmers only? I feel like we'd make money on that.
Is it? Okay, here's the thing with farmersonly.com. There was a Family Guy gag that made me look at it a different way. Originally, I thought it was supposed to be literally for just people who live out in the country, right? There's not really bars to go to, that sort of thing.
All right.
And then there's a cutaway where like Peter does a commercial for it, and then they do it. You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com. And he comes out, he's like, it doesn't say whites only, but yeah. Which is like, that is.
That's rough. Okay, I called my mom yesterday before the shoot today. It's tender and important for mother to know that they were effective and successful at ruining you from school. Jesus Christ.
Who is Michael Bryan? Have we had him comment on
No,
the show?
no,
before?
we've asked him to. No, he's commented on our show, on my shows.
Oh,
He's a close friend. He lives
gotcha.
he used to live in San Diego. Now he's in LA. He's getting married. Maybe he's gonna fight for your venue. Who knows? Maybe you guys can have a something crazy. I refuse to go out to eat on Mother's Day. That's a huge scam, and that really bothers me. Like, look, I feel like Valentine's Day and Mother's Day are definitely days that you should cook. Just
I
not,
think in this
not
case,
the person. Like, it should be that should be someone's.
No, especially if your mom was the cook in the household. In this particular case, it was we went to a museum in Westwood, and then we went to a cafe next to the museum. Yeah, and it wasn't crowded. There was like 6 people in it, which was fine.
Yeah,
and I think that's good. That turned out well. But yeah, I heard that it like a lot of Karens. The Karens come out at night on Mother's Day.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. I got to check out. No problem, Michael Bryan. Thanks for coming, buddy. Really appreciate your support.
Yeah, and thanks, Michael. I guess for people watching on YouTube, smash that like button.
Absolutely. Subscribe. You can find Atlas Novak.
Don't got to do the whole thing. We'll do the rest at the end. But I'm just saying, like just because I remembered to. But like, I love the whole smash that like button because like I just imagine it getting more and more like insane what the verb is in that sentence.
Oh,
right. Or instead of hit that like button, smash that like button, bombard the like button from orbit.
Adjust your Death Star targeting to aim at the like button and blow it to smithereens like it was Alderaan. There you go. Let's go full nerd. Sims Day all day these days, bro. That's for sure. Don't get me started on Valentine's Day so much. But that's the thing is like spending time with your mom is way more valuable. And like even I'll tell you right now. So with when we had our family emergency, I went to my mom's and I was like the perfect excuse because I didn't expect a lot of people to be there. The perfect excuse. I was going to say, "Hey, Mom, I haven't eaten. Could you cook me some food?" Because that will distract my mother spectacularly because she loves me the most out of all of her kids because I'm the baby. That's fair. So
I'm the best one. They all love me. Yeah.
But that's the whole thing was that I always look at it and say how if you navigate it properly, it can be beneficial. Like having those conversations with your mom about like, hey, how we communicate, how we express ourselves, because that makes them think about it too, which is a good way. Because like I find like for myself, I was fortunate enough that I had a different relationship with my dad much further, like much younger than my siblings did. Because by the time I became a teenager, my parents were already tired.
Yeah.
So both my mom and dad, we had to communicate, which was different because nobody did that. So
it was the same for me too, but it was less about they had a bunch of kids and more about they had us late. So,
they were more mature too, right?
All the like I remember going to like field trips or whatever, and they're like, "Do you want to volunteer to be a chaperone?" And my mom was like, "Absolutely the fuck not. I'm too old for this shit." Like as a kid, I hated that. I was like, "But I want you to come see the La Brea Tar Pits or whatever the thing is." But as an adult, I can appreciate. You know what? You were 50. I do not blame you.
Well, so that's the weird part was that like I remember other friends' moms, and like I had a few friends whose mom were like my mom, and then I had a few friends whose mothers were not like they had like jobs, and like my mom had work until I was about 8 or 9, and then she was at home, and that was that was our life, right? It was much easier, and I got the full benefit of that. It was wonderful. Right. So, but other people, their moms like worked, and they were like, "Oh, I got to go home and cook." And I was like, "You go home and cook? Why would you go? What is your mom doing?" They're like, "She works." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds horrible," right? But it's a different world, right? Yeah. So it sucks that if you're a dad, you got to get shit for your kid's mom. It's like, bro, she's not my mom.
What am I doing this for? I think the idea is that you kind of like when your kids are young, you have to be the bulk of the Mother's Day-ingness, right? where you're like, okay, the kid, scribbled on a card, but I made you dinner and I cleaned the house and we went to the movies or something.
Absolutely.
But once you become an adult, like now, I think if my parents were still married, my dad would not be doing shit.
Yeah.
But he'd be like, you kids figure it out. Take her to a museum.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that's like, and also too, like I remember having that conversation. So my dad got mad at me because I wasn't doing something, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "That's not how that works." I'm like, "Listen, you know what? I don't have to deal with this. I'm gonna bounce." And then he said how bad I was to my siblings, and my siblings were like, "No, that's your wife. Dino's an adult. You need to take care of your wife." And my dad was like, "What?" And it's like, no, now you're an adult. Sorry, we're all adults. We all have our own problems. You're wrong. And he had to apologize to me. And I'm telling you, that was sweet ambrosia. It was
that must have been fucking candy to your veins.
Oh, you know me. I'm a whore for that kind of stuff. Like someone's like, "Hey, I'm really sorry." I'm like, "You should be," and I will lord it over people because I'm a dick, right? Yeah. But that's, and also, off topic. But I am of the opinion that a lot of women overcompensate for mental issues by overfeeding their house cats. Also, a lot of people say, "Well, I'm a mother of cats," and you're like, "No, that's not." Listen.
Okay.
I love pets. I love
a lot
pets.
of men overcompensate for mental issues by overfeeding their house cats. Source:
I
used to have a cat and he was fat as hell. So, yeah.
That's right. Mental health is gender neutral. Everybody, remember that. That is the key. Okay, it is.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that in like a men's rights matter or anything like that.
But it's just great.
Okay, guys.
It's just great.
I'm just making sure because I know there's probably going to be one commenter who's like,
that's fantastic.
I try and acknowledge and check my privilege as much as I can.
Well, you know what though? That's a fact. Is that more and more people find that.
Okay, wait. So
that's how you chaperone, baby. Be like, hey kids, go. What's your YouTube channel? Sub to my channel.
Like and subscribe. My half brother. Last time I was over at my dad's house, he was like, "Do you have Instagram?" And I was like, "I do." Do you have Instagram? You're too young to have Instagram.
That's okay.
I will kill you, Joey.
It's okay. He's laughing. It's fine.
No, okay. So like he's like, I was like, "You're too young to have Instagram." He's like, "Yeah, but I have one. Can you like follow it and like all my stuff?" And I was like, I did because I'm his brother, but just like
you are. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I think it's very important to nurture that familial relationship because
also, it rots your brain. Source.
Everything.
I was there for all of it. It was like I assume like Obi-Wan being like a more sophisticated weapon from a more sophisticated age, and I'm just talking about MySpace.
Listen, man, but that's the weird part about it all, right? Is that we're in a time when, especially now as an adult, like I've had a few friends who are like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna start a TikTok or whatever or something," and I'm like, "Don't." I'm like, it's super addictive. It's really bad for you, and it's not a healthy use of any sort of artistic expression. And that's for all of it, but at the same time, you're going. That's why it's really, you have to be careful how you interact with things.
Yeah,
right.
This is why I show up, I post the TikTok, and I leave again.
Yeah, it's and that's not. And just to be clear, it's not a knock specifically for TikTok, but all social media have that trapping. I doom scroll so very often, and it is a horrible habit. And I love it to death because I'm an idiot. That's just basically it, right? Because I'll just and it's ridiculous. But
here's the thing with like my social media, my favorite platform is Reddit, which is stupid.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is that like unless you're jumping between a bunch of different subreddits looking for more stuff, or it's a subreddit that gets updated a lot, like politics or that kind of thing. You can just run out of stuff to look at where you're just like, this doesn't update enough. I'm bored. And then go take a shower or go for a walk or something.
Having it limited in that fashion is very a lot healthier, right? Like it's just a healthier expression.
Like if you're on r/all, which is all the subreddits everywhere all the time, then you can doom scroll.
Just the same thing. I fully went into YouTube knowing that I want my kids to be YouTubers because content creation. You should get
that
them
is
to
incredibly
practice.
sad.
It's very, you know what? It's sad because it's painfully accurate. Right
okay,
now. That's the definite issue.
Now I want to see a sketch where it's like their kids are like, "Dad, I want to be a lawyer," and he's like,
"No,
being a lawyer is a hobby. Where the future is content creation." I will fly back to Cleveland and film that sketch with you, Joe. I am in.
Oh yeah, John actually does stuff on. He writes stories on thing and does artwork, and he does some wild stuff. He's got.
You can get followers on Reddit
if it's your subreddit, yeah.
Oh yeah. Like if you're on a sub, sure. I thought you meant like.
Hey John, I'm not sure you can, but please put the link in the to your subreddit in the comments, so we can share it.
Yeah.
I think I'm following it, but I'm also old and I don't know how to use Reddit very well. Atlas tries to show me, and I'm just like, I just look at the funny videos because I'm stupid. I don't know what to do.
Oh God, yeah. So I guess the easiest way to describe it is stuff gets more visible. Like imagine if on Twitter, if someone commented, it gets less visible, and if someone liked it, it gets more visible. So that's Reddit. So,
but that's how it should be. Like the idea of taking that power away from people, like it's the same thing with Rotten Tomatoes, where you're like, oh, the critic rating is absolutely the worst possible thing you could ever use to follow anything because they're trash. Audience rating still has its issues because people are bastards.
No, that's why it's good to have both, so you have the like comparison between the two. If it's pretty close, you get like a pretty accurate rating. But if it's like 92% audience rating and like 20% critic rating, you're like, this is interesting.
It is, but that's one of the weird parts about it is that the idea that you can have, like, I remember I was talking with a buddy of mine years ago. It was it would have been after high school, so like 25 years ago. God, I'm old. We were talking about doing like movie reviews because back then we had the issue where you're like, none of these guys are like, oh well, the artistic representation. Shut up, loser. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares about that. Is it a good movie? Does it have a plot? Do you enjoy the characters? It's the same issue I have with people going, oh, there's no good female leads. Oh, have you ever watched the movie Aliens? Eat rocks, loser. Okay, that is a female lead. That is how you do it. Charlize Theron, Sigourney Weaver, these are great actresses. Don't try and turn around and tell me, oh, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it does. You just suck. That's the real problem.
What was I going to say? Sorry. What is a movie that your mom didn't want you to see that you saw anyway?
Oh, no, my mom never cared. There was mostly scary movies. She didn't, because she knew she would have to deal with that. Because I'm a big sissy. So like, oh, I'm scared. Right? It's not. Yeah, it's horrible. I have had YouTube shorts and streams boosted on Reddit. The one time I filmed a Nazi flag going through town, got like 50K. Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
I think we were trying to upload to Reddit, and then Atlas got blocked for something.
Yeah, because they thought I was like, oh no, you know what? Okay, well, one time they thought I was like ban dodging or whatever it is because the other time was I posted to the sports subreddit for our sports episode and got banned from r/sports on that account forever. Which is like,
I guess, but if you're going to be a sportscaster, I'm pretty sure like this is my problem with all social media is there's no time that you can converse with a person and go, hey man, can you just explain what I did here? And just I didn't mean to do anything, and but like no, that's not like I have a bunch of community guideline dings on my Instagram because I will share to my story just stuff I find on Instagram.
Yeah.
And in turn, they're like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, then why is it on Instagram? If I can't share it, why was it on Instagram? And I only did it for 24 hours. Those guys posted it.
Which is funny because there is a subreddit called Explain Like I'm 5. and it's
I should sub to that. I should definitely sub to that.
I think it's like ELI number 5. I don't think it's like Explain My Dumb 5.
And as long as we watched Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy with my dad, they didn't care what we watched. Married with Children, sure.
Your parents wouldn't let you watch Married with Children. I wasn't allowed to watch, like Family Guy, The Simpsons, South Park, Futurama.
Really?
Let me explain.
Please.
I watched all of those things
obviously
because my dad likes Futurama. So
Futurama's great.
We did it together, and then he was like, go, one for all for one. So he would cover my ass for.
Would he? What? Where is it? Hold on. That was the link to the remastered version of my best story. Oh, it doesn't show up, John. I'm so sorry. I'm not sure why it does that. I don't know. I gotta figure that out. Sorry. Why? Do you mean that he would be like, "Hey, we'll watch it, but don't tell your mom"? And then it was like, "Okay, then we'll just watch everything."
No, it was. We'll watch it. Don't tell your mom. And then after that, he would catch me watching.
Oh.
And he's like, and then just leave and just be like, "Don't let mom catch you." And then that
would. In all honesty, I find it's so difficult that you can't police that. Like. Especially now, the insane amount of things that are, I feel like it's insane that people think that you can moderate it. Don't forget, Dino, about the potential of the Buffalo, New York Juneteenth weekend meetup. That's also something that we might do.
There's that. What?
No, I was just gonna say about Joey. We were talking earlier today about me going to the States because I have a trip coming up, but after that I might just jump on a bus and start traveling the United States like Rambo, and I'm hoping for the same like a hobo because I don't want to actually do anything, but I'll have like a $2,000 phone and just be taking pictures of myself. It's great. I'm in the Arctic. Look at me. I'm in the Arctic. Yeah, it's great. Sorry, continue.
I forgot what I was talking about. The thing about
cartoons.
Let me watch it. So I think it was just a thing where so I think my generation of parents is like the ones that are able to police their kids better in regards to technology because we were there for I was there when it's like when your kid goes like, "Have you heard of this new band blah blah blah?" And it's like, "Bitch, I saw them in concert when they were on their second album. This is their 14th." Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What are you looking
at? Give me a second.
No.
I am just adding John as a moderator so he can actually add stuff to the chat properly.
Nice.
I apologize. I'm trying to do a million things at once because I'm an idiot.
Anyway, so I think it's going to be interesting when my kid tries to pull a sly one on me when I'm older. And
so I saw something about this because this is perfectly with regards to Mother's Day, Father's Day, celebrating parents and everything. Is that how many times do you get frustrated, I guess, with the idea of them asking you for tech support and stuff like that? But the question is that later on in life, there will be youth asking, you'll have to ask the youth how to do stuff and be like, it's going to be like, they also gave the example of a teacher trying to figure out how to use a whiteboard, and you're just like, or it's horrible, right?
Yeah.
But that's like, your parents were already old when they had you. My parents were really old when they had me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, I remember my dad going, "Oh, can you help me fix the internet?" And I'm like, "No, you know who I do? I call the internet." And I'm like, "I don't know how to fix it because I don't know what I'm doing." There you go. Just so everyone knows. Okay, hold on. There's Joey. I was trolling in AOL chat rooms in '95. I am the Tom Brady of troll. Guy, you got nothing on me.
Yeah.
Throughout from '94 to 2000, if you got harassed by Dino Diggler, that was me and my friends. We were mean as hell. And so you understand, we made people cry at a professional level.
I bet you did. You asshole.
We would go. Listen, I'm not proud of this, but I will wear it on my face because I did it, and that's how life works. I definitely went into chat rooms that were where people were going for support, and I did not make friends.
You are.
Yeah, no, I was for work.
Well, your mom would not be proud of that.
When you don't have, listen, when you're fat and chicks aren't trying to touch your wiener through high school, you find other ways to satisfy your need for attention.
Yeah.
So so I made John a moderator on my channel so he can post links in the chat because I trust John. He's a great supporter and he's a nice guy and he's a hell of a writer. You write some really wild stuff. So that's the link to his Reddit.
Yeah. So for people like just listening to this, r/chilling app.
I'm sorry. Hold on. r/chilling app.
So just APP for app.
And it's I Inherited a Fallen Angel is the story that John did, and it's pop. It's a great story.
Nope.
I was your God, Joe.
I still have the email. Mine was at Globe, ATGLOBE.
Nice.
And all those. So that was
fancy.
It was either that or Atlasphere, but
Atlasphere is pretty top tier.
Yeah.
I feel like that would be a good production company for you to have.
Throw some numbers on the end of that, right? If yeah.
Absolutely not. I would definitely. You should try and get that as an email. Honestly, Atlas, Atlasphere Novak.
Well, Atlasphere@gmail.com or something. Or
absolutely. Listen,
I'll give that.
That could be the giant international conglomerate that is Atlas Novak. Will start as Atlasphere. Just listen.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Yeah. And then I can use it to artificially like our YouTube channel, so it gets more whatever.
Okay, there's that.
I mean, that's what my brother wanted me to do. Go on his Instagram and go like all his posts, even though he's 10.
So here's a question, and let me throw this out to everybody too: is that the idea, okay, that social media, and Joey knows about this too. We've talked about it multiple times. Is the idea that you can buy subs, you can buy comments and likes and that kind of stuff. I am adamantly against it. Joey also finds it that it's one of those things when you can immediately see it because the level of content and quality is poor.
Yeah.
Bro just got Atlasphere. So, but the idea is that you're artificially inflating things, which is all it does is muddy the waters further, right? I'm of the philosophy, because I'm old and crazy, is that the better the product you produce, eventually it will spread. Because that why wouldn't people do that? It just makes sense. So that being said, the idea that people are forced on days like Mother's Day, your birthday, Father's Day, where you have to pay them attention or else you're the bad one, is in the same way you're like, it seems like you're trying to manipulate the system where it's like, hey, if you're a good parent, friend, sibling, people will celebrate you on a regular basis, whether you like it or not. You don't need especially just stuff just happens, right? So like,
I don't know if it's like that, or like I don't know how it is for most families. I assume it is this way, where like the Mother's Day isn't being used as like an extrinsic way to get something out of your mom. You're not doing it to be like, oh, then she'll make me pancakes every morning. You're just doing it because she's your mom and it's the day to do that. And like, I know for someone who grew up without holidays, it's very weird to understand, but but for like, for most people, it's just the kind of thing where like, May, you celebrate your mom. It's that time of year. Like, try and be a good son / daughter anytime you can. And that sort of thing. But there are times where like, this is the big kibosh, right? You're not setting off one firework a night every night. On 4th of July, you set them off because it means something.
No, I understand it.
I guess Canadian Independence Day, whenever that is for you. But
July 1st, we're better. That's fine. No. Yeah, it is July 1st. Yeah, because I got my wedding anniversary is June 30th because the next day was going to be a holiday. I'm like, that means I can party on Tuesday night. Everyone can come and everyone has a day off. I get a cheaper price. Aha! Frugality wins. No.
So similar thing where we're having our wedding Martin Luther King Day weekend, so you get the 3-day weekend.
That seems racist, but that's okay.
It's not. It's for the 3-day weekend and for no other reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, because it's is the Monday the holiday or the Friday?
The Monday.
So are you having it on Sunday? Or are you having it on Monday?
We're having the wedding on the Saturday. It's so people can go to the wedding, be hungover, and not be like, oh, I gotta go to work in the morning. You have like the Monday off. You know?
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
John, no problem. Listen, man. So that's that. So if you guys go onto Reddit and look up "I Inherited a Fallen Angel" Part 1, that's what you're looking for.
Okay.
For
now,
story.
in return, John.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah. Poor Canada Independence Day is going to be mixed up with USA Independence Day. Listen, in all honesty,
it's sorry, my biggest fan. He's back.
It's not like we're actually independent. We still have a king, technically. That's the best part.
Yeah, like, and you got the biggest wanker of a king ever, like
with his little breakfast sausage fingers. It's very peculiar. Like I have full sausage, like Knackwurst sausage fingers. He has little baby breakfast sausage fingers. It's very peculiar.
You had to go from the Queen to King Charles. That's like when Mr. Simmons on Hey Arnold left, and then they got that drill sergeant guy. And then they're like, "This is terrible."
I don't know what Hey Arnold is.
Come on, you didn't watch Hey Arnold? Okay, Generations. Let's see. I haven't used that in a long time. I'm trying to think of like a good example of just like, oh, you're worse
now. So much. Who else? Well,
okay. Now, you know what?
To the Caribbean. That's definitely going to get worse now.
The new Coke. To the king, the Queen's Coke. There you go.
That's accurate. I feel, and you know what? I love the memes. Joey has posted them a few times where it's like 75-year-old man finally gets job after living off his mother for the last 60 years. You're like, so mean, totally. But also perfectly accurate.
Yeah. I mean, look, you have as a common citizen, you have every right to make fun of nobles forever.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing as like you have every right to punch a Nazi. You have every right to make fun of nobles, of cops, of elected people. It is your right as an American or as a Canadian. It's just,
I believe, just human beings are allowed to be mad at royalty. Billionaires, millionaires, not all millionaires. I feel like once you get past 10 millionaires, you can be made fun of by anybody immediately. You can't make fun of a homeless person, but you can't make fun of the homeless. You can make fun of an individual person who's a piece of garbage. That's the thing.
There you go. You can make fun of you can make fun of Pigpen. You can't make fun of someone living in a pigpen.
Exactly. Yeah. That would be not nice. No, but that's the whole idea. I feel like that the idea of punching up is, if you are not allowed to punch up, that person shouldn't be in that role.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same idea. Like, I try and relate everything to its base function. You're like, listen, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. It's that simple, right? It's one of the principles of life, where it's like, listen, if you've stepped into a situation that is well beyond your means, either adapt quickly so you can assimilate and be part of the solution, or kick rocks, right? I'm doing my best not to swear. It's not working.
It's really, especially because like training to become a teacher, right?
Well, yeah, because you definitely don't want to tell kids to go fuck themselves, right?
I'm trying so hard. That is what I'm incredibly scared of. Where my mom and my sister are like, "You'll do great. You've done stand-up for 10 years." And I'm like, that's the problem. I've done stand-up for 10 years. I'm gonna
very difficult.
Gotta make sure I don't. Yeah, like Katie works with kindergartners. I don't know how she does it. It's amazing.
There's a show. I don't watch it. It's a Canadian show. It's Mr. D, and he's a teacher. And one of them was show and tell, and a kid rips out his mom's rocket ship, and if you press a button, it vibrates. And he's like, "Oh, it's gonna hit you in the face!" And he's like, "No." And you're going, that's the thing, is how do you go, okay, so kids, that's called not a rocket ship. So let's, but yeah, like, how many times has have one of your parents told you to go fuck yourself? Since we already said it, this might as well celebrate, right?
Yeah. I think no, none of them have told me to go fuck myself. They've said fuck you, but like facetiously. Oh, fuck you.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's good parenting. That's good parenting.
But never like go fuck yourself. Yeah. I've never been kicked out or like.
Oh, I have.
That kind of thing.
I find it very funny for the different experiences we've had growing up, because I had two parents, a very loving household, but a lot of rules and regulations and stuff like that, but also, an enjoyable experiences. It was no hardship that wasn't for purpose, but at the same time, we've had a lot of similar experiences and some very different. But it's very interesting.
That's what I think makes this show.
Well, yeah, because we're definitely in a situation where things like we grew up in very different environments, right? Just both world environments and home environments, right? So it's a weird thing as well, right? Like even like a day like today, like I texted my mom just to see how she's doing, because obviously our whole family is going through a weird thing, but like it's weird. And even yesterday was like, everyone's going, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, I have no point of reference for what I'm experiencing right now. I don't. It's and that's the idea. Like it's the same. Like some people, like I know a couple times when I'm doing comedy, like a drunk girl's like, "It's my birthday," and I'm like, "Get away from me!" They're like, "No, you gotta buy me shots." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I really don't." That's not...
Birthdays don't exist in my world. Get away from me.
Kind of not. Like even I say that to Victoria. I'm like, why do we have to do this? I'm like, just we have a great life. Just enjoy. I'm like, I will try my best to be not a piece of shit on that day, and then we'll just do something nice. It'll be great.
I think it's just fun. Like a thing with like there are things like meeting Katie's family, and like the traditions and just dynamic are a lot different.
Yeah.
Between her family and my family, where like her family is a lot more chilled the fuck out.
Really?
The amount of not being on edge is astronomical. The delta between like how on edge I am between my family and Katie's family, which is usually the opposite for most people, where you feel more relaxed with your family.
Well, I remember taking Victoria to meet my parents, and we pulled over, and I had like 2 cigarettes before taking her, and she thought I was nervous about her meeting my parents. And I was like, no, I'm worried my parents will say something that you'll say, "Fuck you, fatso, I'm leaving you."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Why would I do that?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm an idiot. I know nothing. So it was a weird thing. But you're that stressed out, man.
Yeah. Well, look, as I've already established on this show, it is on a chemical level. How stressed out I get around my mom.
Yeah, that's a bad thing. That's just like I have no way of trying to bounce around that.
It's the kind of thing where like my family will get made fun of, and I'll be like, yes. Aren't you gonna fight back about that?
No. Well, at the same time, like it's definitely like a learning experience as well, right? Just to see them, because look, there's always that story where like a woman's first love will be her father, her last love is her son. That's a thing a lot of people have said. It's a known, it's a real thing. But it's real. It is a real thing, Atlas.
It sounds like something that I would have seen carved in a stone somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. It's before people wrote on paper. Definitely, it was just an old thing. But like, I've never felt indentured to love my mother, but I feel like a lot of people do. Maybe that's a new thing?
Maybe. I mean, like, I think in a situation where like my dynamic with my mom in like a normal situation, I would just be like, okay, she's not a Trumper, she's not like she's not like anti-abortion, she doesn't hate gay people, like she doesn't do anything that is toxic.
She's not a bad person.
She's not a bad person. She's just kind of
tightly wound.
Tightly wound, and just kind of like third rock from the sun, you know? You've seen Third Rock from the Sun, right?
Yes, but I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, so like alien in a human body doesn't quite get how like social things go. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a real thing.
Where it's like that, where like I don't want to just be like cut her out of my life because she didn't do anything especially wrong. It's just kind of she's just bad at it. And,
and a lot of people are. Yeah. That's like a lot of people are bad at just being human. Yeah. You know?
And like in a world where most comics I know here in LA aren't from California. So a lot of their Christmas no, she's not. She is an NPR, a little out of touch, yes. She's like an NPR hippie, like a Santa Monica hippie. That's my mom. But like for most comedians I know, they're from other states. So when they see their parents, it's once a year.
Yeah.
Right, for Christmas. You go over there, you suffer through the weekend, you get back, you move on with your life. I live in the same town as both my parents and both of Katie's parents. So I am just in there. The only time, if I want to like advance in comedy, the only other place to go is New York. And why would I go to New York? I'm already in the other big place.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing is too, like, I was explaining this on the weekend, was like, I grew up in a very tight-knit family. Like, we would have Christmas dinner, would be together. We would invite other people's families to come join our family and have a bigger party, right?
Katie's family is very tight-knit, yeah.
And, like, there was a point in my life where I'm like, yeah, I just bounced. And I'm like, that was 20 years ago. So it's like, so how you guys been? Like it's when they're like, well, why don't you just come on? I'm like, no, I'm good, thanks. Right? Like it's so like I definitely understand that, like where people want to be involved and interactive, and you're like, hey, that's a boundary. Why don't you just calm down, right? Or I'll stab you in the face.
Yeah, it's just the kind of thing where she wants to be with people.
Sure, which is totally normal.
Like she wants her, like us and Katie's family, to like do this, and that's why this will happen at the wedding. And I don't know how that's gonna happen. It might be, it might be Coke and ice. It might be Coke and Mentos. I don't know yet.
Either way, festive. Let's call it
that. And I don't know why I'm doing all the Coke metaphors this time, but
LA, it gets in your blood. That's
wrong kind of Coke, buddy. I more mean the soda, and also I kind of want a soda. That might be why.
That's fair.
Yeah. So like, I just
there's a certain appreciation though that you have for a mother, and I think a mother too will never not think of you as their baby. Right. Mm-hmm. However old you are or anything. So I feel like that's a harder emotional situation to navigate than it is for a young person to look at their parents as just another adult, as a peer, which I think is an exceptionally wonderful thing to be able to deal with a parent that way, because then there's a mutual respect. It's a lot harder. I say parent because usually a dad is okay with it. He's like, I don't give a shit, whatever. Right? Whereas a mom is like, no, you're my baby. Yeah. I changed your diaper. And you're like, yes, but now I don't wear diapers. And we're not going to use that as an example. And they're like, no, always. And you're like, oh, okay.
I am a big proponent of like hanging out with your parents every now and again. It doesn't always have to be like helping them cook dinner. Like go fucking play pool with your parents, or like go do karaoke, or go to a batting cage, something where it's not meant to be specifically either getting something done or something that is like only one person's activity. It's not just going to the doctor for one person. It's not them going to your little league game. It's that you guys are both doing a thing together.
But also, if you drove them for them to be able to run errands, like giving them company, parent, old people like that. Just, not that they're old, but like people who are older appreciate company for stuff they normally do alone.
Oh,
and then you say, "Oh, I'm just here for the ride," and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Because I'm 29 and I appreciate that from time to time. Not always, just every once in a while. I'm gonna be a great old person. Where I'm gonna be doing this show. Yeah, I'm gonna be the old one. You're gonna be dead. I'm gonna have another Zoomer host. I'll be the old person. Yeah.
I'll have new hair and like big teeth. Like I went to Turkey. I got everything redone. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. All the wrinkles are gone. Everybody, it's great. I'm sure that's coming.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, like I went swimming yesterday for like exercise for the first time in forever, and I got burned. See that? The difference in skin tone? It's yeah.
I didn't think you could get brighter with the light not shining on you, but apparently as soon as you do that, it does.
Somehow,
it's fantastic. Yeah. No,
it's it was definitely a weird time because like I lost my form of exercise by getting canned, which was walking to and from work. So so now I gotta like go do other stuff for exercise. So go into the pool, baby, and and my stand was like, you have not been outside since college. We're not ready for this. So
my wife gets mad at me the same way, and she's like, "Why are you so white?" I'm like, "Cause I'm white. What do you want from me?" Okay. I didn't get my dad's olive, beautiful skin. I got my mom's clear alabaster, see-through skin.
Did you have bad acne as a kid?
No.
I didn't have bad acne here. It was all legs, butt, shoulders. Like it wasn't visible.
Steroids will do that to you, Atlas. Steroids will do that to you.
Nope, just very hairy. That's the problem.
Just very hairy. Yeah, well, listen, that's also I'll be honest with you, it's weird because from the weight loss and everything, I've started to grow hair. In a lot of places.
I didn't know that was a thing where you're like, all right, you have lost some weight, therefore we can use the stuff that was kept or used to keep you from exploding into hair growth. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I believe it's just the tightness of clothing that like just sheared everything off. So now everything I wear is loose because which is also its own weirdness. But so now I'm like, I have my legs are getting hairier. I'm like, that's a weird thing, but
interesting.
It's very peculiar. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, kids. There's the advice. If you want to wax your legs, don't wax your legs.
Just get fat.
Yeah.
Get fat and wear tight clothes. You'll be fine.
Second puberty. Yeah. College Humor had a video about that, and I didn't really know it was a thing. And then my sister started going through it, and I was like, oh no, it's coming for me soon.
Listen, this I'll tell you right now. You're now, listen.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like even I've gotten less gray hair in the last few months.
Oh.
I don't know how that works. Like it's weird, and also because I have a lot of bald spots up here, but it's more been like the calcification of my follicles just through stress and all that kind of stuff. Whereas now, like there's new hair kind of growing, and I'm like that's weird, but
that's pretty dope.
Well, I'm hoping because listen, I'm not a fan of having bald spots, but at the same time, I'm like I don't really care. I'm 6'2". People don't see the top of my head. So
imagine if Keeps was like, this episode is brought to you by Keeps. We don't sell anything. Just go for a run, you fat fuck. You'll grow hair back. Like.
That's a show I'm doing at 10 p.m. Everyone, just to be clear, that's the daily show I'm doing a little later today. Is just gonna bare bones in it, in the home. Yeah, it's not an advertising for. You know how many people are taking Ozempic? You've heard about Ozempic?
No.
It's essentially a pill for diabetes, I believe, but also it's like massive weight loss and appetite suppression. So people are taking it whether they have diabetes or not. You're like, that's not healthy. There's
probably going to be some long run thing where it's like, so you grow a third arm if you didn't have diabetes. You didn't know that? Oh.
I would start taking it. I'll be honest. I could use a third arm. I feel like you'd add a little versatility to your life.
Okay. I saw on an Ask Reddit thread, if you had a third arm, what would you do with it? And then I went in there. I was like, okay, where is the third arm?
Good question.
And they were like, wherever you want it to be. I'm like, that's not the answer to my question. Because if it's like, I don't know, Smoky Quartz on Steven Universe where it's coming out of the armpit, that's fine. You got a third arm. if you have like a scorpion tail, like one of these coming out of the back.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah.
What if it's a scorpion tail downwards, so technically it could cover your junk?
Oh, that'd be kind of interesting, right?
See? Because a backwards scorpion tail over the, like, that's a horrible, like, what, it's going to feed you snacks? Like, that's, I'm okay with that. But
or I feel like you'd be kind of good at football or baseball, right?
Yeah, because you could and hold the ball here. I mean, get that. But if it was underneath and cupping your junk, like the UFC would totally change.
Definitely. Or or the like it comes out of your ear. Like that's like the mutant on Futurama, the sewer mutant who's got one of these coming out of his ear. And I don't know how we got all the way the fuck over here.
You said it, and I was like, who would they are Futurama? I'm like, oh my god, that's true. That's right. That's definitely not on the ear. Anyways, this has been wonderful. Well, I'm glad we talked about.
I guess a good question for listeners would be if did you have a good Mother's Day, and what is one advice you have to be a good son or daughter out there?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Put that shit down in the comments.
Please do.
Or leave a like. That would be fun. Tell your friends about Generation Dan. At Generation Dan, Twitter or Instagram, or underscore Dan, Generation underscore Dan on Instagram. And then where can they find you, Dino?
Dino the Genetic Marvel. I am currently doing a 30-day series. I am on day 17 of the 30-day series, kind of explaining why I have essentially sawed off the equivalent of a 160-pound person worth of fatness, and essentially trying to create a homunculus that will go to work for me. I think it's a good idea, and I'm trying to promote it. So absolutely follow me on everything at Dino the Genetic Marvel. Just Google me. If you're not willing to do that, I'm going to be mean to you.
I need a picture of that homunculus when you're done. I just need to know what it looks like. You can find me at Atlas Novak, Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. Or if you're on YouTube, the Epileptic Comic. It's all short form sketches. Most of them are about having epilepsy. Sometimes it's about other stuff. Yeah,
definitely.
And then you can follow my other podcast at Nexus at Night on Twitter or on Instagram. It's a podcast about Cardfight Vanguard, which is a trading card game. If you're not into it, I completely understand. And
that is for all time the best bug. It's about a card game. You don't like it, I understand. And you're like, that's a very polite way of
it's almost as good as understandable. Have a great day. Like it's just so nice, succinct. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.
Bye.